So I've got Corona engines, and I've already kind of talked to that guy.
Take that guy.
And he's
Okay, you're lying.
he's like cycle your oil more often, and watch iron.
Yep.
Where's your brake line?
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. United States of America.
Okay, bow our heads for a minute. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you to give you thanks for watching over and protecting this squadron and all the squadrons in Civil Air Patrol. Lord, please be with our leadership. Give them wisdom to make wise decisions as we go forward. Be with our military and their families, Lord. We lift them up, keep them safe, we pray. And help us to learn a few things this evening. Amen.
Right. We'll start with some ongoing agenda items. Sorry, my voice is a little low. I guess a little dehydration over the weekend contributes to that. Okay, so aircraft status.
We just flew it down to IPL this weekend and had successful missions. Had to scrub the Sunday mission, but made it back safely. And right now it's still the remaining 3 write-ups that we carry forward, and it's ready to fly.
Okay, and what write-ups are still pending?
Well, it's still the PFD. We made a decision not to try to change that, so the brightness issue with that, we saw that at IPL when it was dark out, it didn't brighten up, but then it did. The other one is that both aileron rod ends are worn and they need to be replaced, and they're on back order. And the third one, again, escapes me.
Okay.
I forgot what it is.
The exhaust pipes were taken
Is
care
there a
of.
reason why we're not gonna proceed with replacing the PFD?
Cost?
$4,000,
Well, who's paying for it?
not me.
Well, we do out of
Jerry
our
Cinnamon
pocket. I mean,
Nobody's really squawked it enough where, we can't justify using it. I mean, just because it has a little bit of problem
It's
with the
very
automatic
dim.
stuff.
It's very dim, and I was assuming that it was something that would be taken
It
care
has
of.
been written up.
Well,
It has been written up multiple
Yeah.
times.
yeah, but it's only about 10% dim, so if you adjust
No.
it.
It was worse.
No,
Was it worse than 10%? You see that? I never got any squawks about anything that
so-
more.
The PFD is unacceptably dim. Let's
Well,
start with
then
that.
you squawk it.
In broad daylight, it's really difficult to read, really difficult to see. This has been squawked for a long time.
Yeah, but every time somebody looks at it, it's not
Hold on,
bad.
so is there actually a concern about cost from Gary?
No.
That
It's
has
just that,
nothing to do with it, okay.
it's just that it's not, we haven't been able to reproduce the really bad dimness, just a little
Every
bit.
time I fly, the brightest that it will go is not acceptably bright.
Well,
So
See, I haven't
it's-
experienced
It
that.
should be
Yeah.
replaced,
Then you gotta squawk it.
yeah.
Well, it is squawked,
It's
so,
been squawked for a year.
Squawk it again.
Yeah,
well, we don't need to squawk it again. If the decision is that we wanna try to press forward, get it replaced, put the plane potentially down for
Will you
weeks
head
at
up
a
the
time.
replacement?
so that's the question that I would have is, do they have to take that PFD out and send it away to get it fixed? And it'll be down for weeks at a time?
Well, it all depends on what they approve.
If that's the case, then we may wanna reconsider it, but we won't know until they tell us,
There's 2 costs.
yeah.
It's $2,800 if we fly the airplane over there and leave it until they fix it. And it's like $4,200 if they do a swap.
Okay,
So, but they might have to have it 10 days.
Oh,
To do the cheaper
$4,200
price.
considering the transportation cost is not that bad.
What's that?
It's not that bad to get swap comparing to us delivering the aircraft to the factory.
I'll let you handle it. I've made the decision so far and I've gotten shot down 6 times, so I'm not doing it anymore.
Alright,
Well,
well,
I'll call Gary
see if
again.
Gary will replace it, I think it's unacceptably dim.
I'll call Gary again and ask him that, if we can get it, queued in to get it replaced.
Now.
By the way, they never gave me a written quote. They gave me a verbal, maybe. So my prices may not be absolutely accurate.
This isn't the rheostat problem. Is it?
No, it's not a rheostat.
It looks like
I don't think so.
We had the rheostat
combination
replaced.
of issues, specifically the light detector could be one factor, the other one could be the PFD itself, the screen is not bright enough.
But Mike, you confirmed it's not the thing that you showed us last time.
What's that?
It's not the adjustment issue that you showed us last time.
It's the photocell. It's most likely the photocell is not reading the ambient light correctly, and then it's not adjusting correctly.
Yeah, cause we've already replaced the rheostat switch and that did nothing.
We want to be very careful, though, to understand what the lead time is for this. If it's going to be something that they can tell us it'll be a definite period of time, 7 to 10 days, it's probably something we could live with. However, we don't want to go down the road of having an airplane gone for 3 months. That will kill the squadrons, any momentum we have with new pilots coming on board, both the squadron and the group, so.
Okay.
As the Group 3 Director of Operations now, I guess I'll need to be involved with that.
Good, you do that.
All right, that leads to the next item on agenda related to opening for maintenance director assistant to Gary Cinnamon, to the wing director.
What's that?
That, sorry, my voice is down. That leads to the next topic. There is an opening for maintenance assistant director or director assistant role, who will cover the aircraft maintenance for Group 1, Group 3, Group 4, and Group 8. So 4 aircraft in total. The role involves coordinating...
4 groups in total.
Well, 4 groups in total.
It's about 8 aircraft.
Okay. Good point. So that involves coordinating with maintenance 1, Kevin Booth, on taking aircraft in. After the maintenance has been done, performing Form 71 inspection, before the maintenance has been done, coordinating aircraft movement with aircraft maintenance officer in the area, and basically coordinating aircraft delivering back to the group. So, Mike, anything else you'd like to add?
That's about it. I mean, that's the job I did for the last, 5 years, I think, so, but I'm giving that position up.
So if anyone is interested, let me know. I will put you in touch with Gary Cinnamon. It does require somewhat close proximity to Riverside Airport, since you have to come to the maintenance shop, and some organizational skills, communicating everything back and forth.
The hardest part of it is the aircraft, if it comes in on Monday and there's nothing wrong with the aircraft, they only need 3 days to do a 100-hour, and in 3 days, they come and pick it up. And all the squadrons are hungry for their aircraft, so they're standing there waiting for the 100-hour to be done. And when it's done, they take the airplane. So you have to be there to do your Form 71 inspection while it's being done with the 100-hour. So that's the hardest part, is being there and being ready to go when the airplane's there.
Can you tell us what is involved with the Form 71 inspection, so we would know?
Yeah.
How much work is it?
What is it?
It's a full page of stuff.
Well, it's a page and a half now. They revised it, and basically it's a questionnaire. It's what's the tech time? What's the Hobbs time? When did the aircraft get washed last? When does the pedostatic system been done? When is it going to be? When is it ready to do again? There's a whole list of things that we got to check, and at the end, that's the hardest part. You got to make sure that all the serial numbers are correct now. That's the part they added. So the PFD, the MFD, the Texonics, the engine, the propeller, the governor, all the MFDs, all the radios, everything. There's a whole list of things on the second page that they want to make sure that all the serial numbers are correct. And for the most part, nothing changes once you got it done, and I've got most of them done already. But it's when they send the mags out and there's something wrong, they'll send another mag back with a different serial number. Well, if you're not there when Kevin gets the mag and puts it in and the airplane flies away, then you've missed that.
And sometimes he puts them in reverse order.
Yeah, and sometimes he puts a left and the right and the right and the left, and you gotta change those.
Well, and then you have to contact National for them to change that, because I can't do that online, they have to do that.
And I can't do it either, so.
It's just a bunch of busy work.
It's just a bunch of busy work, but it's just work that's gotta be done, so.
So how much time does it take once you're there to do this?
What I normally do is I normally go through and take a series of pictures of everything that's on the list. So I can refer back to those pictures that I've checked those. And every 100 hours, I take a series of pictures so I can double check. Sometimes I forget a picture or two, and the next time I pick it up. And then I take a picture of the MFD, and then I take a picture of the PFD on the Hobbs and the tack time, and I take a picture of the Hobbs meter, and I take a picture of the CO2 detector, and I take a picture of everything, so I have it to reference. Because if I don't, the airplane's gone, and so the first day that it's there, first day that I can, that's what I do. So it takes about an hour, take all the pictures and then check everything. And then it takes about another hour to check everything online to make sure
All the serial numbers are all in the right place. So, and then you gotta do that for every airplane that they bring here. Sometimes they bring airplanes from up north here, which you don't have any records for that. So you gotta go through the logbooks and you gotta verify all the items on the list, make sure it's all done. Takes a little longer when you got an aircraft from out of town. And the G1000s take longer than the advanced aircrafts. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm resigning from that position, so. And you're welcome to all my old records. Whoever takes over can have my old records, which will make it easier, because all you gotta do is update it from then on,
Yeah, and usually Kevin keeps it tracked and he sends them out.
Well, he sends the
spreadsheet.
numbers, because I
Yeah.
made him do that.
But
But if there's a new guy comes in, he may not do it anymore.
so he sent me the wrong aircraft to the wrong spreadsheet.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes he doesn't take the time to update that correctly either, so you gotta double check everything. Anyway, it's not that hard, it's just busy work. So,
All right, I'll think about it. If no other member is interested,
Remember,
I
you
will
have a lot of
probably
jobs to
take
do
it.
already, so.
I know, but
I advised him not to take it because there's a lot involved with it, time-wise.
The last guy that did it before me was somebody from Hemet. He used to drive down here and he used to do all the information, but they didn't have the requirements for the Form 71 they do today. They, like I said, they just revised everything, and during the
USAF inspection, we have to be a little more accurate, and things have to be done better.
And if I remember right, Gary still wanted somebody to be there during the final run-up too. An A&P type guy.
Yeah, well, sometimes. But usually the squadron will come and get the aircraft before I know it's gone.
Right.
I mean, in fact, 9 times out of 10 it'll be gone before I know it's gone. They'll come in the middle of the night and pick it up.
okay.
So, which is not unusual. I mean, we do that too. So,
Okay, Royce has something. looks like a great job and opportunity. Roy, you're welcome to take it.
Who?
Roy.
He wants to do it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Good for him.
Too far away.
What's that?
Too far away.
All right, so next item, we will have our Group 3 commander visiting us in 2 weeks, on March 21st. So, doesn't mean anything, he'll just come and observe, and he wants to talk to me at the end of the meeting. So be it. He has his regular round across all squadrons in a group. Next one, there is a call for volunteers from Group 3 to serve at San Bernardino Airport. The email was sent to all Group 3 members to your COG email. Check it out. It's basically helping with relief mission for Lake Arrowhead, I believe. Non-aviation related, just hands on deck, helping moving things around, measuring, weighing stuff, and so on and so forth. So if you have availability, I believe they still need people for Thursday. So respond to that email. There are instructions who to reach out to, and basically good opportunity to help our community. Again, repeating what I said earlier, there will be a communications training this Saturday, 9 to 1, here at the Squadron. It's a Group 3 event, or maybe Group 3 and Group 1, I don't remember. But again, there was an email sent. Good opportunity to learn how the CAP radios work, get potentially communications rating, and play another role within the CAP, which is supporting our missions on the ground, communicating with teams, base, ground, air, and whatnot. Any questions? I'll be there just in case if anyone wants to join.
Are you going to it?
Yeah, I'll come.
I don't have to be there then.
I'll take care of my technician rating.
I signed you up.
Yeah, I actually finished all the theory and stuff. I just want to do hands-on a little bit.
Well, good.
Is it 1 o'clock?
It's from 9 a.m. through 1 o'clock here on Saturday.
Do you have an iCut yet? Do you have any radio?
iCut is super simple. Just go on Axis and do the online course. Is easy. But anyway, if you don't do it, still come for that event and you'll learn a lot.
Yeah.
But you need to submit a form. There was a sign-up sheet distributed in the group. So just fill out the form and come over.
If anybody wants to be a CUL at any time in the future, then you need to take this class and have it complete the class. So it's part of the requirements for the CUL training. So.
Okay.
Communications unit leader.
Next one, very important, finance. We are dry at the end of this month, which means we have no funds remaining on our account to pay for April.
Does that mean we move out?
Unless we move out. We can meet someplace else, somebody's home, and the CBU offered the facility for us to meet, but we will lose the hangar.
We won't lose the hangar.
We will not lose the
The
hangar.
hangar's cheap. We can pay for that.
Is it really $1?
Well, it's actually $11.
$11. Okay, so if we keep that rate, even if we drop this facility, maybe that's an option.
Well, we're not dropping the facility, so we can move on from this conversation.
We-
The question I have is this: how many unpaid dues for active members do we have?
One,
Just one. So we don't have any backlog of any money coming in.
those who didn't pay and didn't come, never responded to my mails, I put in patron status. So we only have 26 active members, at least those who either join online or come in person. So that leads to my next topic, recruitment. there will be an opportunity for us to recruit at the March Air Force Air Show, Air Show at March Base, which will
Will you
be
have a booth?
in April. We have taken 743 Charlie Papa there, and we have an opportunity to man the booth and actually walk around in targeted areas and talk to people and so on and so forth. So I'm definitely going. I already signed up. If you cannot find that email, let me know. I'll forward it to you. It's a great opportunity to talk to people about our missions and actually convince people to join. My additional idea is to host at least once a month, preferably on a weekend, an open house event. So we would need a handful of members to help with that. We can make it in different ways. We can contribute some food items, snacks, and what drinks, etc., and make people bring their own food, like potluck style, and allocate specific amount of time. Let's say, I don't know, 9 in the morning to noon, no more than that. If nobody shows up by 11, we call it a day. But I think it's a great opportunity for us to engage people. Myself and Roy, we really started from pretty much ground zero again. Social media campaign on Facebook. We are posting updates a couple times a week. We keep people aware of what we are involved in and what are the opportunities there. As Squadron 5, I joined multiple aviators groups and actually aerial photography group on Facebook, and I'm once a week at least I bug them with my advertisement of opportunity to join CEP. We did have some traction from that. At least one of our members, current members, joined through my outreach to Facebook groups on SoCal Aviators. I also enrolled Chris and Michelle at the EAA event here at China. So I'm reminding you, it's our common responsibility to bring more members. For us to break even financially, we have to have 54 or 52 members, active members, paying dues. That will cut all the expenses, cover all the expenses. Yes, Chris?
Just a thought on that, if you haven't thought of it yourself already. When you're talking about these weekend events, is there any way we could enlist the cafe? The cafe is busy, and we can enlist, signage or some sort of advertising. I don't know if that's what the logistics are behind that, but
I actually had the same thought, and I thought about maybe putting a table in the terminal building.
yeah.
Just a table and 2 chairs and a banner or whatever, and sit there and answer questions.
Yeah.
The airport manager would let us do that.
Yeah, the airport manager would probably be receptive to that,
So that would
yes.
be way more productive than having an open house here. We've just had somebody down there manning a table for the period from 9 to noon a couple of times a month. There's tons of people down that go into that restaurant. They're all, well, I wouldn't say all, but many of them are interested in flying.
And a lot of them,
Airport, environment anyway.
Great idea. Absolutely support that. I was thinking about it myself. So why don't we start a rotating schedule? Basically, I will send out a sign-up spreadsheet and just respond on dates you are available for the month ahead of us.
We can start with March 19th. The reason I say that is because I'm scheduled to fly 6 hours of events that day from the terminal building. So the airplane will be in front of the terminal building all day long. And then in between, yeah, so that'd be a Sunday.
Yeah, sounds good.
Why don't
Sounds
we-
good to me. So I can be here to support you while you're flying cadets. I'll be manning the table.
Well, also, the fourth Saturday of every month is the display day at the cafe here at this airport. So that's another day where there's gonna be a lot of aviators.
Display day is for antique aircraft sign-offs.
Well, Not just antique, come on now.
Okay, vintage, vintage and antique.
Vintage, there you go.
I'm antique.
Maybe if we should have 1 month or something like that, that could be good with the
You know, their
Yeah, let's do
interpretation of
that. So the
their
first
definition
event
of
we'll
antique
do
is
will be on
40.
19th. I
So-
will handle that one,
Yeah. Oh, you do
and
too.
I will send
I used to
out the
display
sign
them as
up form for the future events.
For my personal purposes, I rent from Next Gen over there, and they're based right, their flight line is right
Yeah.
there at the cafe. And every time I'm doing pre-flight, there's 4 or 5, 6 people just hanging on the railing,
Yeah.
looking at us, and and I always want to go over and start talking to them, but I'm also on my own. I'm on my clock for my rental period, so I can't really go over and talk to people about it.
What is the monthly fee for everything, including electricity, whatever, rent?
You know, you get a copy of that when they do that Form
Just ask the question.
172.
I'll share it. The current budget. Okay, I will just take that number and divide
That's
it by
the
12.
budget. That's not the,
That's the total expense.
well, that's the budget. But you're looking for the Form 172, right?
Yeah, but that number is from the budget.
Or is it?
Well, actually, the form contributed to the budget.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter. 916 divided by 12, $743.
And how much of that is actual rent that we have to pay?
Internet cost us this much, 1,300, 200.
What's
So the actual rent would be 7164 divided by 12, 597.
So $600 is the cost for the facility. The other,
That's including electricity
and that includes electricity.
and the hangar.
And the hangar. And then the other $100 is internet.
$110 for internet
$110 for internet.
a month.
Is that business internet?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll take my words back. So it's 7164 plus 12, which is $1 per month for the hangar, plus 420 for utilities. So let me do a math
Yeah,
again.
the Squadron building is $25 a month for utilities, and the hangar is $10 a month for utilities.
So, all right, so it's $8,500 or whatever it is
Oh,
per
I
year.
messed up apparently. Yeah, 633. $633.
That doesn't sound correct.
Yeah, it's not including the internet, right?
That's not including internet.
That's for the hangar and for the
That's
Squadron?
this building, utilities, and a hangar.
This one, utilities and the hangar. I thought it was more like, anyway, go ahead.
How
Well,
critical
in a
is-
proximity plus. But
You have all the new numbers, so I don't. you
How
might be right.
critical is internet? Everybody here has internet in their hand. Just throwing it out there, just asking. I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm
at
asking.
$110 per month, it's pretty expensive internet with a
Very
shitty
expensive.
quality. We can try to negotiate with the company. I was going to, I just didn't get to it.
Who are you gonna go to?
We have Spectrum, I believe.
We have Spectrum.
So I believe that's the only option on this location.
Yes.
Anyway, we don't have to debate that tonight, it's just a
Right.
question. but we
So
can move
that's
on.
another option. We can cut approximately 1,300 if internet provider is able to contribute this much on an annual basis.
Do they charge us more because it's business? Or
Yes.
Correct.
is that it?
They I tried to get a personal connection here. They absolutely refuse to do that because
So
it's
the
a
address.
business park.
Yeah, it's the address.
So they would not do a personal one here,
Okay, the other option is for us from recruitment point of view, going around the flight schools and actually talking to flight school managers and asking them for donations based on us referring cadets, capable cadets, to the schools. That's something, just an idea. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but it's there for us to think about.
I think we need to have a meeting with the airport manager as soon as we possibly can and ask for some relief. We're a volunteer organization providing a service to community here. We're paying $10,000 a year. It's common. In fact, I've never even heard of another CAP organization ever being charged for anything on field.
so.
Fullerton, yeah.
Fullerton pays almost as much as we do here.
Squadron 68 at John Wayne uses facility of SCI jet for free.
Who, where?
The Costa Mesa Squadron. They're
Yeah.
paying nothing for use of facilities.
Have you
They
been to their
get
facility?
they get red carpet. You basically get aircraft brought over by SCI jet
Yeah.
to the door steps.
Yeah, so there's a new airport manager. The old one's gone, so we should schedule a meeting,
I'll try.
and I'll go with you on
I
that.
tried once, didn't get any response. I tried twice, didn't get any response. I don't know. I mean,
We'll just walk over there and walk into the office.
we'll try.
Pretty simple. He's got to leave to go to the bathroom. There's not a bathroom in there.
Unless he doesn't sit there. All right. So that's all I had. Any questions, comments, suggestions? Feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have any other ideas for recruiting new
I'm just
members.
gonna throw something out, totally different subject on 759 Zulu. I can send an email out to Gary Cinnamon asking what the status was on the engine repair, and I guess it's all coming together, and they don't know how long it's gonna take, but.
That's estimated in probably another 30 days, yeah.
Okay, so then we have a decision to make as to whether or not we wanna push to get that airplane back. So that should be maybe some food for thought, and if anybody has any ideas about it, I'll give you mine. It's my opinion that, given our local terrain, the best aircraft, would be a 206 stationed here at Riverside. However, that comes with some drawbacks, especially to newer pilots that are trying to get Form 5. Even though 182 is a high performance aircraft, 206 does take that to a little bit different level. Really not too much of a different level actually, but I think that there's some hesitation. There has been in the past with people checking out on 206s. So it is more expensive also to fly for proficiency if you're doing self-funding. However, it's a much more useful platform for our terrain. It is also much more capable in terms of useful load. Probably nobody weighs, with the exception of Michelle, the same as what she did, or you did in high school here. Okay, we're bigger sizes. And so it's really be nice to have some extra useful load in the aircraft to be able to take an actual crew of 3 for training. So it provides more opportunities for that. But I would say this also, can you turn the mic down so I'm not being recorded?
and didn't have any issues with it. In fact, coming from Piper and Mooney, the only real consideration I had to take into account was heavier nose. So on landing, you just hold the aircraft back a little longer. So after a few takeoffs and landings, it gets engraved pretty much. And it's a good practice anyway. And I came from round dial, so for me transitioning was easy. I didn't have to really do much, anything new comparing to previous aircraft as far as avionics go. So if you come from G1000 world, yes, it's a downgrade. One thing to keep in mind, if you would like to get checked out on Garmin 1000 to increase your options to fly, you'd have to chase G1000 aircraft in other units and get your Form 5 someplace else, or maybe at some Saraxes and whatnot. So that's something to keep in mind. In my opinion, it's manageable and it's not that difficult. We have Fullerton not far from here. We have Palm Springs not so far from here. I drove to Santa Monica to get my Form 5 on G1000. So if you really want it, you'll get it. So, quick vote. Who is for 206?
We don't have to make the decision.
No, just preliminary.
Oh.
Just want to see.
I don't know if I count, but this is the first jury.
Who is for 182 G1000? Okay. You lost. To give you an example on useful load, the second time I participated in CD mission, counter-drug mission close to the border, and all aircraft were 182s. You have to really calculate weight and balance. You have to make sure you get enough fuel not to overload the aircraft. And you may take off with full tanks, but you really have to go down when you burn some of that fuel.
What is it, 72 gallons of fuel?
On 182,
No,
96.
206.
206? I don't remember actually. It's been a while since I flew.
It's 88 gallons usable on 206, 87 on the 182. The same exact weight of fuel tanks.
87 usable, 96 total,
You can
right?
actually fly with the tanks full on the 206.
Yeah, yeah. You still have like 1,000 pounds.
We have
of
50.
full load.
We carry 50 pounds of gas or 50 gallons of gas in the 182, and we carry 87 gallons of usable in the 206, and we have
Yeah, on
200 pounds
182.
more useful load even, so.
That's like my plane.
Yeah, on 182, when I do cadet rides, sometimes I cannot take more than 2 cadets. Some cadets come pretty heavy.
Some cadets are very big.
Yeah. I had one cadet 235 pounds. So, all right.
I'll look up the useful loads on both aircraft for a minute.
So, Terry, would you like to talk to our onboarding pilots? We have Chris here, we have Evgeny, we have another Chris, we have Jason right here, right, and potentially Tom, right? So maybe
Okay.
reiterate again on onboarding process.
So, Chris, do you have that link for our pilot qualifications
It's on our website, actually.
on our website?
Yes, it's on our website for sure. So I'll
wanna
bring
bring
the
that up?
website on.
So I actually just sent out an email to the group today asking for feedback to those people that are in the onboarding or return to flight program. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain what it is here in a minute. And then also beyond that, you're already Form 5 if you're tracking toward mission pilot. So the onboarding is exactly what it sounds like. If you are not a Civil Air Patrol pilot at the moment, yet you are an FA licensed pilot, then there are some steps that you can take to be onboarded and become a Civil Air Patrol pilot, and it's all funded, and that's the key. This is a departure from what has ever been in the past with CAP. So all this, what it costs an hour, doesn't make any difference really anymore. I haven't flown a sea mission and if I have, I've flown one or two in the past 20 years, okay? Everything that I fly is funded. So let me ask you, what is your flight experience?
I have private pilot license and something like 75.
You have 75 total hours for private pilot's license, okay?
300 hours.
How many?
300 hours, high performance complex.
Okay, and how much of that is PIC? Do you know?
250 of it?
Okay, perfect, okay, so you're right there, so the reason I'm asking is there's some cutoffs.
I'd have to add it up, but it's close.
Yeah, there's some cutoffs, okay, so essentially, is this our website right here?
Yes.
Wow, that looks really nice. Okay, so to become a Civil Air Patrol pilot, okay, 18 and over, I think we've all made that one, okay? Current FAA pilot's license, an FAA medical, or you can use basic medical now, okay? You've got to complete level 1. Has everybody here completed level 1 in the room? Okay, have you completed level 1? Okay. Level 1 is essentially the equivalent of CAP boot camp. It's an online course of a couple different modules. Are you a member yet?
Yeah.
Okay, you are. Okay. So that should be something you should be working on. And if you're unsure as to how to get there, Mike is always a great resource, or Christopher Younger. They can help you, direct you to where on Access to go to do that. Everybody needs to complete aircraft ground handling. Again, this is on Access. Are you familiar with what Access is? Okay. Aircraft ground handling is just a video you watch. It takes you 20, 30 minutes, something like that. In fact, okay, both of you need to complete aircraft ground handling back there before you can fly a CAP aircraft. So that's something, put that on your list. Okay, and if you've already done it, okay, good. The next course, the CAP professionalism course. Have you guys seen that on Access? Okay, you'll learn more about it. Okay, and then of course CAP General 116 ES, which is the first part of emergency services and introduces you to. So that sounds like a lot, okay, but that's stuff you do essentially one time in your CAP career, all of that, okay, except for ground handling, okay. So, okay, yeah, this cheap thing, not.
It's expensive, but no touch.
Okay. When we talk about a Form 5, that is essentially a CAP flight evaluation that earns you your pilot's wings, okay, to become a Civil Air Patrol pilot. If you're in the onboarding program, okay, the first thing that you need to do is get a sea mission, schedule yourself with a flight instructor, a CAP flight instructor, and they will go out and they will fly with you, and they will evaluate that flight and then determine whether or not they will enroll you in the onboarding program, okay? That's, yeah, so this will be the only time you really pay for flying yourself in CAP if you really want to. Yeah. So it's simple.
It's actually easy. You
They,
basically-
yeah, go ahead.
You basically schedule a mission under a self-funded profile. When you fly it, you have to refill it to mission level, like required fuel for the mission. And then you put the amount of fuel you put into the aircraft and record how many hubs you flew and what is the takt time, etc. You submit it, and then in about a month, they'll send you an invoice. And you pay by credit card, and that's it. It's in Wimmers. In the
Yeah.
Wimmers, you reserve the aircraft, you create the sortie, you fly the sortie, you debrief it, put all the numbers in, you save it, and then you get an invoice in your email. You click
Just-
on it, you pay it,
yeah.
and you get it.
You can also have it automatically deducted from an account if you set that up.
Yes. You can also save your credit card. First time you'll have to put your payment information in. bill you on an ongoing basis?
So to get in the onboarding program, like I said, there's that filter there. We want to make sure, they're really like making sure that you are, because the onboarding gives you 5 flights, okay, funded flights, and then they expect you to be able to take and pass a Form 5 flight evaluation after those 5 flights. You're probably not going to be there if you haven't flown in 15 years, right? You could have a pilot's license, but just you're not current, you're not proficient and all that. So we want current, proficient pilots. Get through that filter, then, you know, it says 2 to 4 hours with a CAP instructor pilot. It really depends on what your experience is and how long you've been flying, but okay, let's skip past. So some of the other functionality of a Form 5, there's paperwork involved, okay? You're joining a government organization, all right? I don't need to say too much more about that, right? It's just a lot of red tape. So 70-1 general exam, which is general knowledge about aviation and flying, and then a powered exam, which is more CAP specific stuff. An aircraft questionnaire that asks you things like, you know, where are the fuel tanks located, how much gas is in it, oil, quantities, yeah. General information about the airplane. And then, of course, these are the things that you have to bring with you the day of the Form 5.
When you go to do your Form 5, I understand that all the CAP planes are, there's a version of Form 4 flight that has all that information in it. But someone who hasn't done that before, is that something I can call somebody and say, hey, send me all the data on that plane, or how do I, because I'm sure you're going to want to weight and balance and all that kind of stuff when I show up. So, how do you prepare for that if you don't have that data?
Most of the POHs are on PDF file, and Terry can send it to you or myself, or.
Okay.
In ForeFlight also, if you put in the tail number, it will grab that information
Okay.
for that plane.
Yeah, if you have ForeFlight.
I don't, but
No,
I'm a wing X guy,
only
but that's
if you
okay. I
have
can convert
CAP
it.
Form Flight subscription. If you have general personal subscription, there is no CAP weight and balancing. You have to manually type it in.
And you can't get it until you have a Form 5, I understand.
Correct.
Yeah.
We have all of the PDFs for the pilot information or
Okay.
pilot operating handbooks. We can share that with you. And there's probably also Excel for doing weight and balance and stuff. So you'll have the information.
So any of the documents that you need, you can find most everything on e-services. However, if you can't,
Calls of it.
you can get a hold of Terry, myself, Chris, or
Myself,
or
I
Andre.
can send you a performance profile for the aircraft you're gonna fly, and I can
Okay.
send you weight and balance profile. I already have done it myself, and before I got for flight subscription, so it's just ask.
available. Okay.
Have a question? Ask.
We're all here to help.
No, I was just kind of curious, where do I go for it? You know,
We're all here to help.
so.
So to operate as a PIC in any CAP aircraft, you've got to pass an initial Form 5 in that model of aircraft. So for example, if you want to fly a 182, you've got to pass an initial Form 5 on a 182. You're going to fly a 206, you've got to pass an initial Form 5 and a 206. Once you have both those initial qualifications done, then a Form 5, I believe, in either model will qualify for either at that point. Now, there's some caveats to that, and that's G1000 endorsements. You lose your G1000 endorsement the moment you take a Form 5 in an aircraft that is not G1000. So let's just say Zelda, in this case, is a G500. Your Form 5, you've got your initial in there. You have your initial in the 182, so it's a G1000. So you have your G1000 qualification. A year passes. Every 12 months we do this, okay? You go back, you take your Form 5 in Zelda, which is G500. Now, your Form 5, you can fly a steam gauge 182 or a G500 206, but you can no longer fly a G1000 of any model until you go and get an abbreviated Form 5 to add that credential to G1000. I don't know if they'll change that at some point in time. I've been flying G1000 for nearly 20 years, and this just happened to me last time around. I had to take, and I lost my G1000 credential. Anyway, so high performance endorsement's a one-time thing, okay? So you get that, and then also a turbo endorsement is a one-time thing. You carry that forever. All right, so going back, just the functionality of what is a Form 5 here, or just recapping, pilot prerequisites, essentially, an FAA pilot's license, an FAA medical, and do some CAP stuff that gets you into CAP. Yeah.
Endorsements, are those FAA level endorsements?
Yeah.
So I get that here, I can fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
CAP instructors
Yes.
are all FAA certified.
Yeah, so
CFI.
but it meets all the
So
requirements.
they'll
then.
sign you off.
And if you have a high performance endorsement in your logbook that qualifies. Okay. Like I said, the level 1, aircraft ground handling, professionalism, and generally yes, except for aircraft ground handling, those things you do one time in your CAP career and you're done. Okay, like I said, I mentioned, you go out, you fly with an instructor for a couple of hours, you get comfortable in the airplane. This is assuming you're not in the onboarding program. This 2 to 4 hours is going to be paid for if you're in the onboarding program. Okay, just want to clarify that.
A question on onboarding program. If a pilot doesn't have high performance endorsement, the onboarding program will cover it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get high performance before you can start on board.
Yeah, you just got to go through that C mission, that one time, pay for it, and the instructor will say, okay, I think that this person can qualify for Form 5 in 9 hours of flying, which if you're a proficient pilot, you're not going to need all that time anyway. All right, so let's talk about what can you do. So what is your name, by the way? Avian?
Evgeny. Eugene.
Okay. I will get that. I won't get it right now because I can't even hear it. But, okay, nice to meet you. You have less than 100 hours of PIC, okay? So this is the bucket that you're going to fall in right here, okay? You're going to go out. You're going to get in the onboarding program. You're going to fly your 5 flights with instructor. Then you're going to take a Form 5. And then, essentially, what you're going to be able to do at that point is you'll get CAP pilot's wings. Congratulations, okay? And then you'll be able to fly the aircraft on C missions. Now, what does that mean? You can now rent the airplane and fly it for proficiency or fly it to your heart's content. Okay? Not much else you can do until you get to more than 100 hours of PIC, okay? And 50 hours across country. When you get to that level, okay, and you have that amount of qualifications, you take your Form 5, and now, instead of just becoming a CAP pilot, you've become a transport mission pilot. You can still fly the C missions, but you can now fly to and from missions, transporting things, okay? And you can fly, most importantly, you can fly hybrid, okay, which is our communications platform. When there's not a line of sight communication between the base and the aircraft, say there's a mountain in between, we have to have, we used to call it Capcom, so it's a relay station. So you can fly that. And we actually have quite a few missions. Every single Western Air Defense Sector mission that Jason over here prepares all the F-16s out of March to fly. He's our resident Air Force guy that deals with the WAD stuff. But you can fly that. So, okay. When you get to more than 200 hours of PIC,
Just a small addition to that. Once you are TMP, transport mission pilot, you are entitled to one funded proficiency flight every 3 months, plus one annual emergency procedures clinic, funded. So it's basically up to 2 hours of free flying time on aircraft you checked out. And by the way, once you are VFR pilot, you get 4-flight subscription for free.
so it's not just any 4-flight subscription. It's military flight bag, which is the highest level of 4-flight that is out there. Okay, and so that's very handy. when you get to the next level, this is when things, your flying really picks up. Sorry. All right, thank you. I am not technologically oriented, I can tell you that. Anyway, not with computers anyway. When you get to 200-hour level, okay, this is when flying, you can do as much flying as you want to in Civil Air Patrol. I mentioned that there's 9 cadet squadrons in and around this airport right here. Each one of them has a membership between 25 and 50 cadets. Each cadet can fly up to 5 different profiles. You start doing the multiplication, that's a lot of cadet flying. We'll never get through it all in a year, right? So this is where you can fly cadet orientation flights. You can fly high bird, cadet rides, and of course transport missions. You can still fly the sea missions.
What's hybrid?
High bird again is that communications platform. Yeah. If you add another 100 hours on top of that, and now these are less frequent missions, to be honest with you. ROTC, I have not flown an ROTC mission in a long time. The funding is just harder to come by for these ROTC units and JROTC units at high schools and colleges, but they do require a little bit more, in terms of experience. Also, at the 200-hour level, okay, you can now start to train or, enter the mission pilot program. What is a mission pilot? Well, that's basically the backbone of CAP, has been the backbone of CAP. This is the pilot that flies the Western Air Defense Sector missions, flies search and rescue missions, flies live organ transport, flies disaster relief, flies counter drug, okay? And then there's there's 2 different kinds of mission pilots. There's a mountain qualified mission pilot, and then there's a standard mission pilot. The difference is 7,500 feet density altitude. So for anything that's less than 7,500 feet density altitude, a mission pilot rating will qualify. If you're going to start flying in high density altitudes above 7,500 feet, you're going to have to go through a mountain qualification called Mountain Fury, which is much more demanding and challenging. It's not for everybody, to be very honest with you, and there's plenty of flying below 7,500 feet, so anyway. The other part I mentioned is counter drug, and that is more of a time qualification. There's a time filter on that. You've got to be in CAP for 24 months before you can apply to the program. But once you do, and actually Jason's right there. He's right there at 21 months right now. I suggest he enters his Form 83. It'll take that long to get it cleared.
Faster than that. Took less than a month.
Okay, well, and anyway, I mean, still, he'll have it by the time when he gets here at 2 years. Then you can fly counter drug. So I am the counter drug officer also for Group 3. So that will definitely help you if you're interested in flying CD missions, because I'm the guy that's looking for crews on that. And that's where we go to a location down south of here for 2 or 3 days, and we fly for Customs and Border Protection. And so we're out of time a little bit. I kind of went through that quickly. Are there any questions on the different kinds of pilots? This is on our website, so you can scroll through it and see where you fit in. Sounds to me like you're right there where you can be doing all this stuff, and you've got just a little bit of time. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that 7,500 just any like if you're over the ocean, still you can't go over 7,500?
7,500 density altitude. So it could be.
I'm just saying, like, it's saying mountain. You're saying the word mountain isn't a term. So if we're not over any mountains, then we still have.
The key word is density.
Yeah, it's a density altitude restriction. So I mean that could be 35.
Oh, I know.
That could be 3,500 feet MSL in the summertime.
On a hot day,
So
easily.
over water stuff too. So cap is limited.
Exactly.
How far we'll go.
That's right.
Well, I'm saying, like, if you're right over the beach, I'm nowhere near a
So,
mountain, but I still need
out of
to qualify
curiosity,
if I need
Yeah.
to, so I do 100
I'll
density
throw a
output.
mission pilot, let's say you're
Let's say it's
going
110
somewhere.
degrees outside.
Oh,
You
I
ever
know what
seen
you're
a
saying.
7,500
So
density
low
altitude,
that
you
you
actually
probably
get that
won't
out of
be able
rate.
to block,
Yeah, I'm saying,
Yeah.
For the mission.
so even though, like,
Just for the
I'm
mission.
flying over Long Beach where there's no mountain within 50 miles of me, I still need to
Yeah.
qualify if I wanna climb up to 7,500 if it's perfect.
I can tell you, Chris, I have never in my life heard of this restriction being followed if it's not in mountainous terrain. Okay, so, but there's the letter of the law, and I think the spirit of the law, and so I think the spirit of this is to keep people that are not mountain qualified out of high terrain.
Well, and there's like built-in little anomalies, like I've flown with a transport mission pilot on a hybrid mission at 10,000 feet near the mountains.
Yeah.
What, I would assume they're most worried about takeoff and landing. They aren't worried about going
They're worried about, in this particular case, they're worried about in high terrain and high density altitude. And so they're just restricting it. They're picking a number and saying that, so we're always worried about takeoff and landing in, the density altitudes around here and the high desert and stuff like that can be pretty challenging, especially if you're flying a 182, for example. So having turbo 206 was what we had here for 10 years before it was relocated. It was very nice. It was nice to have. I'll just say that. But anyway, if you have a pilot's license, there's pretty much a place for you here at CAP. But I said again, and you can rent this aircraft and go out and fly it. You can't fly it with your girlfriend unless your girlfriend's CAP member, so that's the one limiting factor there. And I don't know how cool. You can't take the aircraft overnight or anything like that, on a personal pleasure kind of a thing. But you can certainly go out and do your training. In fact, once you become a mission pilot, I'll just say this: once you can get any advanced rating by any FAA instructor using Civil Air Patrol aircraft.
No, unfortunately, that's not the case. I asked the question. I can only fly towards the advanced rating with CAP instructor.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Did they change that?
Escalated to PRUSAC. The regulation is not clear about it,
Oh.
but regulation says that who can be in the aircraft, and any regular FAA CFIs and CFIs are not permitted to be in the aircraft.
Well, we can look at that. That's never the way that I've understood it, but in any event, it can be used for training.
FAA flight examiner
DPE,
can
yes.
go in a CAP
So
aircraft,
if you're
special permission.
if you're in CFII is also a DPE,
No.
yes. No.
Not a standard CAP.
Well, we don't need to get into the weeds of that. There's other benefits, is all that I'm trying to say. And there's plenty of CFIs and Civil Air Patrol that you can use for training if you know where to look. Anybody have any other questions? This is all online. You can go there and.
I want to talk about 4 and 5 afterwards.
What's that?
I want to talk about 4 and 5.
Okay. All right. We'll adjourn.
Okay.
8:05.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thanks.
Meeting is over.
All right.
You
So-
and I talked